Madonna is on the side of Israel. The American pop star wrote on Instagram, "My heart goes out to Israel, to families and homes that have been destroyed, to children who are lost. I know this is Hamas work, and many innocent people in Palestine do not support this terrorist organization." On October 14th, Madonna gave her first concert in London as part of her world tour. She addressed the audience from the stage.
All of us are suffering watching what's happening in Israel and Palestine. It breaks my heart to see children suffering, teenagers suffering, elderly people suffering. Unite in a dark and evil way, or we can unite from a place of light and love. And if we all have that collective consciousness, we can change the world and we can bring peace, not only to the Middle East, but all over the world.
I want to add that Madonna supported Ukraine at the same concert. The singer appeared on the stage with the Ukrainian flag. Madonna did it to the song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" from the famous musical Evita, and ended the performance with the words, "No fear." After the full-scale invasion of Russia into Ukraine, many Ukrainian stars took up arms and signed up for the Teroboron or armed forces. The leader of the Boombox band is an attack drone pilot and performs combat missions in the south of Ukraine. Rapper Yamak and his brother formed his air reconnaissance unit at the beginning of the war. Last September, they transferred to the Special Operation Forces. Alexander Yamak is now the commander of the Kamikaze Drone Operator Unit. Zhenya Galich, the leader of the Otorvald Group, is returning to the front. His team was on rotation. The musician wasted no time and actively gave concert and helped the Ukrainian army.
Watch this.
Okay, guys, with us in the studio, the person who has already done much for the Ukraine. Wardrobe stylist, costume designer, image creator, fashion designer, and activist, Frank Wilde. I know there is a vast Russian community in Germany, of course, in Berlin also. Do you feel sort of hate from pro-Russian citizens on your social networks or when you are on the streets? What do you think?
To be honest, on the streets, no, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I mean, there's of course we have a huge Russian community in Berlin, but I think the Russian community here, because they have access to information and everything about the war, they're more or less quiet and they know that Russia is doing a horrible thing. And I never got attacked by Russians. I sometimes get strange looks by Russians when being on the U-Bahn or something, and I'm wearing a pro-Ukrainian shirt. They give me a look, but that's pretty much it, actually. And the Russians I personally know in Berlin, no, none of them has attacked me. They have a different view on things, and most of them at least, and they're not that black and white that I am about it. But no, I don't have problems. Online, it's a different thing. I got a lot of really ugly messages, and that was more or less like a year ago when I got featured on Russian television as a bad example of Western decadence and gay lifestyle, and it was really ugly. It was really like bashing me, and they stole pictures from Christopher Street Day, from whatnot. And I actually was surprised that they take the effort to promote somebody who's a private person and is doing what he's doing. And at that point of time, and didn't even post that Russia is a terrorist state. I was just like really supporting Ukraine, and they were really ugly. Ugly. I mean, look at this freak. That's the only friends Ukraine has, and everything referring to the stuff I was wearing. And okay, I have to put this out because this is interrupting us. So sorry. So no, but that's pretty much it. I didn't get it further attack, and I hope it will stay that way because I don't feel like I'm at war with every Russian or something. What I'm doing is actually a different thing. Yeah.
So I'd like to know what does Berlin look like these days? What do people say about the situation in the Middle East? What do people say now about Ukraine? All this situation, current situation in the world, because it looks like the world is crazy. Everything is online, and we are just like watching the Hollywood film.
Yeah, it's actually it's almost a week. It's really, really depressing to watch the news, and I'm normally a freak for news. So every morning I wake up, it's the first thing that I read the news, what's happening, and whatnot. And I even came to the point where I say, like, no, I don't want to watch the news anymore because it's so heartbreaking what's going on in the Middle East. It's like so terrible that I don't actually that I decided for myself in a way. I have my position, but I want to keep out of it because I need to concentrate on my work for Ukraine, and this is very close to my heart. And also, it's in these days, of course, it sounds cynical, but there's like a war fatigue happening. I mean, the war's been going on for over 1.5 years, and lots of people are like, oh, it's enough now with Ukraine. And then you have now the huge conflict of Israel-Palestine that's totally like blowing out of proportion and is really a threat to world peace. And so Ukraine got a bit out of the focus in news, and which I think is terrible because the war's not over, and Russia is terrorizing Ukraine every single day. I mean, I don't know if you watch the news about that, but Russia is really attacking Ukraine every day. Civilian places, killing babies, mothers, and whatnot. And it looks to me like at the moment nobody's watching it anymore. It came in the news on the second page, and this is something we shouldn't allow because the war's still going on, and this war Ukraine has to win. Ukraine never chose the war, but all Ukraine is doing is defending its country and its citizens. And we have to understand that this war must be won by Ukraine. And I'm 100% it will be.
Well, there is another topic I'd like to discuss with you because, as I told you, and everybody knows, these huge challenges and like our world is divided, and very essential, I think, for many people is just to know the point of view of someone who are very famous, well-known. Why is it so crucial for people to check the clock with well-known people about events like war, let's say.
With well-known people about what?
Why it's so crucial for people to check their clock with celebrities about events like war? Because some of them, they close the comments, they make some caption, and they don't want to face with huge. They don't want to be criticized by people, Yeah. But for people, it's very, very, very important to know what celebrity think about anything, especially if we are talking about war.
I think you always have to keep in mind that we have a very strong Russian propaganda in Germany, in the whole of Europe, but in Germany especially. And in Berlin, we still have the Russian embassy functioning. Then we have the Russisches Haus that claims to be a cultural place or whatnot, and is used for propaganda. Germany has a history of a lot of economical bondings with Russia, and Germany also has a history when when Crimea was occupied in 2014 to look away and to okay, but the Russians are friends, so we turn a blind eye, and all of this comes together, and then you have, if you go on Twitter and read what the Russian embassy is posting, you have the feeling that the NATO is having a war against Russia. There's so much bullshit and lies going on, and the thing is that a lot of people believe that because they don't refuse to believe the cruelty of the war. They refuse to believe that it's possible that children get kidnapped by Russians, and it's a huge issue. Actually, they believe that they refuse to believe that women are raped, civilians are beheaded, and whatnot. And actually, they all have their private things, and say it's not my war. And also, you have to keep in mind that a lot of Germans still regard Ukraine as some post-Soviet country. They don't have a connection with it, and they don't realize that Ukraine is actually Europe, and Ukraine belongs to the European family as much as Moldavia, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, and whatnot. And they always underestimate the importance of these countries. In my case, it's a bit different because I've been working a lot in Eastern Europe for the last 15 years. So I know about the people, and I know about how Europe changed, and about the power that Eastern Europe has. And I'm very connected with Ukrainians, so I kind of fell in love with the whole country, and they see the huge potential and the creative power and the cultural heritage and everything. So I know and understand what Ukraine is defending and what Europe is to lose if Ukraine loses the war. This makes a difference, I think.
Thank you very much for everything you've done and for everything you're going to do for our country.
Media is extremely important in these days because it's an information war as well, and there's so much stupidity going on, and we have to focus on what's important and
yes, it's very important. You do a great job. You do a great job. It means a lot.
Thank you so much. I'm very inspired by Ukraine.
Yeah, we see.
I always say that to my friends: learn from Ukraine.
That's perfect.
Look at what
sounds
people
great.
are doing.
Thank you very much, Frank.